Everybody, it's Norma, and it is that time of the month again. It is time for a Empties video. This is what I have been burning during the month of November. And if you watched my video, what I'm burning now in November, you know that I had a much more successful month than in October. October was a big disappointment. You know, the start of starting my fall scents. I did use September as a transition from summer into fall, so I didn't really get into the fall scents until October, and it was a major disappointment. And then November came, and it was really hard to get into the fall scents for November as well, because we just had such an unusually warm November. You know, last week we did have a snowstorm with several inches of snow, but a few days prior I was walking in the park with no jacket on. I mean, it's just been really a bizarre month. November has flown by so fast. I don't know where it went. You know, I was sick for the first half of it with a cold, and with the second half, I'm getting ready to start a new job, so I gave my 2 weeks notice, and I've been wrapping things up at work, you know, trying to get myself ready to start my new job, which I start tomorrow. And it's just been a crazy, crazy month. So when I'm looking at the jars that I've accumulated, I'm like, how did this happen? Because I actually was burning a little bit less this month. As you guys may know, if you're in my Facebook group or if you saw the video, I've gotten into some of the Luminara candles, which are LED battery operated candles, and they look very realistic, especially if you put them like in a hurricane or you decorate around them or something. And I'm just trying to cut down on some of my everyday maintenance, because when you burn as many candles as I do, which I like to have them for ambiance as well as the scent, it's very time consuming, the maintenance. So I wanted to cut down on my maintenance. So during the month of November, I actually burned 4 candles less than I normally would, and it probably might have been 8 if I had picked like a Bath and Body Works candle or a 2-wick of something else. But there were 4 spots that needed to be filled that I used the Luminara candles. But I still managed to get through quite a bit, and let's get to it. I actually finished up the last bit of them earlier today, and I'll start with Brandied Pumpkin. Where's your lid? Now this one I just did a review on, and this one, it still has, you know, a little bit of wax in, but it's getting to the point where I light it, and then when it gets to a full pool, it kind of, you know, drowns itself out. And so I have to let it cool, relight it again, and it's like, you know what, I'm done. You know, it's just an okay one for me. The scent was fairly decent. It's kind of a creamy pumpkin with a hint of spice, but you know, a little too light, a little bit too light. This is one I would not get again. In fact, I mentioned that all of the Kringle pumpkin scents were a bit of a disappointment for me. This is Pumpkin Patch. Now this one is a little bit more of a classic, you know, spiced pumpkin smell. It was a little bit light on the spice for me, but I mean, beautiful label. The scent itself I actually really like, but again, it was a light thrower for me. Burn was flawless on this one. You know, really good burn. Looked beautiful while burning. These are scorch marks, not soot. But yeah, I wouldn't get that one again either. I thought I had another, oh, I did that one last month. Another Kringle candle. This is an Espresso Crema. Now this is one I did not get a chance to review. I do have, you know, a couple more of these, so eventually I will get around to reviewing it. I normally don't do coffee scents, but this one has gotten such really good reviews on my Facebook group, I decided to try it, and it was nice. I didn't, like I said, I didn't review it, so I didn't isolate it in different rooms, which is what I do when I review. Sorry about that. The phone was ringing. 'Tis the season of telemarketers, right? Anyway, so I didn't really have a chance to isolate this candle on its own to really comment about its strength and its throw. I would say it's probably not a really strong one though, because I did have it on my stove. Yeah, the dead zone. And, you know, it didn't like fight its way through, which it's rare, but there are a few candles that have actually done that. But when I do a full review on it, I will, you know, put it in, you know, like my bedroom or my computer room, probably my computer room, to really get a good sense of the throw. But my guess would probably be light to medium maybe. So that was Espresso Crema. And like I said, I have more. And if it actually throws good, it's one I probably would get again. But I'm okay for now because, like I said, I'm not that big into coffee scents. Now, this is one I did do a review on. This is Cozy Cabin, and I love this one. This was a strong thrower for me. One of the strongest candles I've had from Kringle, I would have to say. The scent itself is light. The scent is not going to like hit you over the head and choke you or throw you out of the room or anything like that. But the throw was good. It filled not my entire great room, but pretty darn close, at least half of it, which is pretty amazing for any candle to do that. And I liked it so much, I ordered several of these for myself and as gifts because I feel confident giving this as a gift. It's a really pleasant scent for those of you who like Yankee Candles, Campfire Treats, Bath and Body Works, Marshmallow Fireside. Goose Creek has a fireside marshmallow type scent. You know, a lot of candle companies do. This one is really, really good. I think it's a little bit more comparable to the Yankee version, but and it doesn't say it has marshmallow in the scent description. But if you're wondering what it smells like and you're ordering online, think Campfire Treats, Marshmallow Fireside. It's in that scent category. Loved Cozy Cabin. Okay, let's see. Let's do our Yankees. So we have Pumpkin Wreath, the infamous Pumpkin Wreath that many of us, you know, practically had a heart attack over when we found out that it was being discontinued from Yankee. It is being retired. So it's no longer available in the stores unless you have an outlet by you. I think it's still online. I haven't checked recently, but if this is one of your favorites and you don't have it and you can find it, you better grab it because I don't know how much longer you're going to be able to find it. I like Pumpkin Wreath. I know a lot of people don't, but to me this is just like the essence of fall. You get the apple and you get the pumpkin and you get the cedar. I personally love it. And I got the melt cups in Pumpkin Wreath for my centerpiece system. Now the candle has a reputation of being a light thrower. I had two of them going in my main room, and it was light, but I could definitely smell it. I had like one on my coffee table, one on my CD case, and when I was sitting on the sofa watching TV at night, I definitely could get whiffs of it. Now the melt cup is strong. The melt cup was really strong. So if you can find the melt cups anywhere and you love that scent, grab them. Okay, we're doing Yankee, right? Spiced Pumpkin, classic scent from Yankee. Once again, I had this in my main room, so you know the scent is going to get lost in there. I was worried about these because I know people were complaining about their spiced pumpkins being a little bit light from last year, but mine were 2013, so they actually did pretty good for me, so I was happy about that. We had two of them. Feliz Navidad. This is one I picked up at the outlet, and it came back as a treasure for this year. And this does have a yellow label, so there's some kind of defect. I'm not sure what it was. I was going to review this candle, but because it had the yellow label, I decided not to. And then I was going to pick one up in the store because I love the label. It's just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I love Feliz Navidad. You know, I'm half Hispanic. I have a very large Hispanic family. And if this candle had been a winner, I would have bought it in bulk to give to everybody. But I don't know what happened. When I smelled it in the outlet, it smelled really strong. It smelled similar to Yankee Candle's Celebrate Christmas, but not quite as strong, not quite as spicy, but similar. As it burned, I could get no throw whatsoever. I couldn't even smell it to tell you what it smelled like. And then as it burned deeper down into the candle, even on the cold throw, I could barely smell it. And I mean, I can smell it a little bit now, but I was disappointed enough I decided not even to buy a large jar at the retail store to try. And I did come across this in the medium jars at Home Goods last weekend. It had a different label. It didn't have the candles. It had something else. I don't remember what. But it was Feliz Navidad. And those smelled strong. And I was so tempted to grab one to try. But I passed it up. I may give this one another chance during the semi-annual sale. I may pick one up. Maybe just one to keep in my collection. Because, like I said, I just love the label and I love the name. But I'm getting kind of tired of Yankee Candles not having any throw. So it's one I would not stock up on. Pumpkin Donut. This is one that when it first came out in the fall, everybody was raving about it. This is the writing jar that you could get at like your Home Goods, Marshalls, TJ Maxx. And I had to really, really hunt for this. I actually ended up having to drive to the outlet on my way up north and found it. Now, people have been, you know, trying to figure out what this candle smells like. And a lot of people were saying it was apple spice that came out last year. I actually thought it might have been sugar and spice that was released this year, but I've changed my mind. It definitely has the same spice that sugar and spice has, which then led me to, aha, there's another candle that has the same spice that sugar and spice has, and it makes perfect sense for these two to be dupes of each other, and that is pumpkin ginger bark. I'm pretty darn sure this is a dupe for pumpkin ginger bark, and if pumpkin donut is not a dupe, then it's pretty darn close. As you can see, a tale of two candles. One, you know, for the most part, they burnt very clean, had very little issues. This one did tunnel a little bit more, which I'm not exactly sure why, because, I mean, I would burn them both exactly at the same time, the same amount of time. You know, as you can see, the wick on this one's a little bit shorter, so that could be the reason why. But it did fairly well for me. You know, no complaints. I can't tell you exactly which of all these pumpkin type scents I was smelling, but I can tell you when I had them all going, my candle smelled so yummy. It has been a long time since it smelled that yummy. So I think it was just the combination of everything that I had going. It was delicious and amazing. Okay, Gingerbread Maple. This is a new scent for this year. I picked this up when they were having like a medium jar for $10 special. And I really, really wanted to love this candle. Everybody was raving about it. To me, it smells like eggnog, but instead of having the nutmeg that you normally find in eggnog, it has ginger. I don't really get maple in it at all. Unfortunately, I had this one going in my computer room, and I moved it around a little bit, and it was a light thrower for me. I mean, I could barely smell it. It did get stronger near the end, which makes me kind of thinking I might want to get it again, but maybe I'll get it in tart form versus candle. I don't know, but I like the scent enough that I'm willing to give it another shot. Now, one problem I did have, as you can see, there's a lot of wax in there. It petered out real early, and so I ended up throwing it on my warmer, and it still was light. It didn't really, you know, knock my socks off or anything. So yeah, disappointed in this, but I like the scent itself enough. Like I said, I would try it again. I wish they had this in the milk cup. Oh, if they had this in the milk cup, oh, I'd stock up for sure. Okay, and then cinnamon vanilla. This is a scent that Yankee released last year for summer. It's supposed to be like a horchata drink. It's cinnamon vanilla, and it's kind of like a spicy cinnamon. It's not like a really sweet cinnamon. And I think the candle is much more suited for fall and winter than the summer. I love cinnamon vanilla. I know a lot of people don't because they detect a curry note in there, and I totally get that. To me, that curry note kind of comes and goes, and I think the reason they're picking it up is because, like I said, this is more like a spicy cinnamon versus a sweet cinnamon vanilla. This is not really a sweet candle, so keep that in mind. But it's a good cinnamon vanilla. It's good on its own if you like the scent, and I think it's a really good blender for all your your fall spicy scents. And if you have if you like a lot of vanilla type scents, which I do, but you want something to spice it up a bit, cinnamon vanilla. It's always going to be a staple in my house as long as I keep making it. Okay, so now we have 2 Pure Radiance candles, and this is in the scent Ginger Pumpkin, which Ginger Pumpkin is very, very similar to the Pumpkin Ginger Bark. I did do a video last year comparing, I believe it was Ginger Pumpkin, Pumpkin Ginger Bark, and Harvest Pumpkin, is it? Something Harvest. All 3 very similar. You could almost say they're dupes for each other, but I think there's subtle differences within each, but it's very subtle, and it could just be in my imagination, I don't know. But Crackling Wick, this is probably one of my very favorite Pure Radiance candles. As you can see, they do leave a little bit of residue on the side, but both of them burnt really good. This one was pretty much a perfect burn. This one, I did have some soot at the very end because I forgot to check on the wick one day, and it got really high, and the flame got really high. So these will soot if you don't keep your wicks trimmed. Okay, 2 more disappointments from Yankee this month. This is Warm Woolen Mittens, Whiskers on Kittens from my Favorite Things line that Yankee had permission to release for this holiday season because the Sound of Music, the movie is celebrating its 50th anniversary. Sound of Music is one of my all-time favorite musicals. It's just, the music in it is great. The story is wonderful. It's just a great production. The candles, however, are a disappointment, which is really, really a shame because I think that movie deserved a much better tribute. These 2 jars are actually from the original collection when it came out in 2013. So it's not, a 2015 pour. There's just no excuse for it. I had these candles turned upside down, turned them back right side up, turned them back upside down again, hoping the oils would drip through. And toward the very, very, very end, I would get a faint throw in my bathroom, but that's it. And it was kind of a mystery because they looked like they were loaded with oils, not with the dye, but with the actual oil. Burn flawless. They were both slow burners. It would take a long, long time to pull out. I had to cut out wax in both of them, especially in Whiskers on Kittens because it was such a slow burner, which I kind of find that with the dark wax. The scent, I love the label. Oh my goodness, I just want to pick up that cat and hug him and squeeze him and hold him tight. But yeah, no throw. I did purchase more of these during the Friends and Family sale simply because once they're gone, they're gone. Yankee won't have the license to re-release them as a treasure in the future. And I wanted them, so I did get more. But if this one, Whiskers on Kittens, actually threw, I would have bought dozens of them because I love the color, I love the label, and I love the scent. It's like a lavender sandalwood musk. perfect to me, like for a bedroom scent. This would be like perfect, but it didn't throw. Whiskers on, that warm Woolen Mittens is like a laundry scent, which is not my favorite. I just picked up a couple just to, keep in my collection, but it was a little bit stronger than Whiskers on Kittens, but barely. Every once in a while I could get whiffs of it, but the scent itself is not one that I would stock up on, even if it threw like a champ. And because October was such a disappointing month, when I was picking out my scents for the month of November, I started with my bedroom scents, and it was like, I want to smell something. So I pulled out my old standby Lemon Lavender, which you see here, the pillars in Lemon Lavender. And then these are the, Home Goods dupe in the writing jar, Relaxing Lavender. And I also pulled out, where is it? A Goose Creek in Citrus Lavender. And I have to say, I had, one going in my bathroom and then 3 in the bedroom. And I almost got choked out. It was almost too strong. And I was like, yes, bring it on. I can finally smell something. I was beginning to think, seriously, maybe I had lost my sense of smell or something, because it was like, I just was having such a hard time in October to smell anything. But no, these were strong. In fact, the Goose Creek Citrus Lavender was stronger even than my Lemon Lavender. I could definitely pick it out over the Lemon Lavender. They're very, very similar, but they're not exactly the same. There is a difference. I actually do still prefer the Lemon Lavender from Yankee, simply because I find that the lavender in the Goose Creek version has a little bit of that medicinal note that a lot of people don't like about lavender. And I think the Yankees version is a little bit sweeter, but they're very, very similar. Very similar. So if you guys like Yankee Candles Lemon Lavender and you haven't tried the Goose Creek version, you might want to give it a shot. But just keep in mind, I find the lavender a little bit more medicinal. But great throwers, great performers. I mean, no issues with this one. Clean burn. Same with this. Now in this one, the wick toward the end did move. As you can see, the one went way over there. So I stopped burning it, even though I had, more wax left in the jar. Same thing with the pillars in the Lemon Lavender. These wicks, now it's really kind of ironic because they look like they're center now, but they would move. When they were burning, they would move, and then when the candle solidifies, it would move back to the center again. It was very odd, but I've had that happen before a lot with the pillars, and I have decided that the pillars are not really my favorite form of candle. They are in the soy wax versus the paraffin, and I have a few more of these in different scents. But I'm not going to jump out and buy pillars too much anymore, because I just had issues with the burn with that wick moving like that. Unfortunately, there are some holders I have where a pillar is really the only logical choice to put in there because of the size. So I will continue buying them, but they aren't something I would stock up on. Okay, we're getting into the home stretch here. These are the Goose Creek candles I was burning this month, other than the Citrus Lavender, and I recently have done reviews on all of these. These two were new fall scents for 2015. I don't think Carrot Cake was new, but I'm not 100% sure on that, but it was new for me. Like I said, I have done reviews on these, so you can check them out. They were all fairly good performers. This one did get puny wick syndrome toward the end, or toward the middle actually. Strong thrower. I wouldn't repurchase it again, simply because it's just not a scent that I like. It's definitely on the masculine cologne side, similar to Yankee Candle's Mountain Lodge, but a little bit sweeter. But the throw was great. Vanilla pumpkin waffle, similar to Bath & Body Works pumpkin pecan waffles. This was a good one. I would get it again. And then carrot cake. This one, like I said, didn't really smell like carrots to me. It was more like a brown sugar cinnamon, but it's like a really warm, cozy scent. And I have ordered another one. Okay, now these are 2 Colonial candles that unfortunately I did not have an opportunity to review. And this is maple butterscotch and white pumpkin and clove. And I apologize not being able to review these. Like I said, November flew by so fast, and then I was sick for half of it. And so I just didn't get some reviews up like I wanted to. I did get backup of these candles when I ordered them, so hopefully maybe either later this winter or next fall I will get a review up. The next time I burn them, I will get a review up. I just can't tell you when that's going to happen. But performance-wise, the white pumpkin and clove was impeccable. As you guys know, there was a period of time where Colonial Candle was having some major issue burns on the 22-ounce jars, and they had a red code here, which apparently they had changed factories or something, and it was just that during that time period, and it just happened to be these red coated candles that they had some burn issues. This was not one of them. Flawless burn, beautiful pool. The throw was fairly decent. I didn't have it isolated in different rooms to really comment that much on it, but I know this contributed to part of my deliciousness that I've been smelling during the month of November. When I get to the other one, when I actually review it and I get a chance to try it out, this is one I would definitely consider getting again, because on the cold throw, it's just like right up my alley. I mean, you know, I've mentioned I like spicy pumpkin. Well, apparently I like pumpkin with ginger and clove, because this, I love this scent. The maple butterscotch is also a really good scent. Definitely smells more like butterscotch to me. I'm not huge on maple, so I'm always a little bit scary to buy candles that say they have maple in them. But I do like a little bit. I'm not like totally anti-maple. So I do get hints of maple in here, which I think helps with the throw. But it's not, to me, overpowering. Like I said, though, I didn't review it. I didn't isolate it. So I can't really talk too much on how the throw would be. I had both of these. They took turns in my large lantern. I had this one, and then when it finished, I put this one. So it was just basically part of the ambiance, and I really didn't get to test the throw. But on the cold, I really do like both of them. This one did have some burn issues near the very end. Now this one also is a black coat, not a red coat, but I did have issues with this one with the sides melting. You know, it still went down, but I would have a really hard time getting it pulled out. And then at the end, you can see that one wick, it just finished itself. It just petered out, and the other one kept on going. And I can't see it now, but at one point there was like a little like weird bubble there. But yeah, so I gave up on it because I couldn't keep that one wick lit. But other than that, you know, not too many problems. But the white pumpkin and clove definitely performed much better. I mean, you look how clean that jar is. Just perfect burn on that one. Okay, now the Bath & Body Works candles. The majority of these were new this year. And let me start with this one. This is Thanksgiving morning, or pumpkin pecan waffles. This is from last year. And, you know, this one did really good. But as you can see at the very end, I did have some issues with the wick, where the other two kind of petered out and one kept on going. And you can see the wicks are still pretty long, but they still, they finally did extinguish themselves. And I still think that's a pretty decent amount of wax left in there. But other than that, the performance was good. The throw was good. I mean, you know, pumpkin pecan waffles is a cult favorite. So I love it. Now this one was disappointing. This came out in the White Barn. I can't remember if it was available in the Bath and Body Works store. I believe it was. It came out this summer, and it was supposed to be a dupe for vanilla bean, or no, vanilla pumpkin marshmallow. This is vanilla bean macaron. And on the cold, it's just amazing. It smells exactly like vanilla pumpkin marshmallow. But I don't like this jar. It's black, and it was fine when the candle was brand new and the flames were coming up and you could see it. But as soon as the candle went down, you couldn't see it. I could sometimes see like the reflection of the flame against the black. But the farther down it get, I mean, I couldn't even tell I had a candle burning. And part of the reason I like candles is not only the scent, it's how it looks. And I couldn't see how it looked. And then what I really disliked about it was because it didn't have a good throw, I didn't even really know I had a candle going all the time, which then became a safety hazard because I was like afraid, you know, oh my God, I'm going to forget to blow out this candle. So I had gotten 2 of them, and I grabbed the other one I had, and I said, I need to finish these up because they got to go. They have got to go. Not a fan of this, you know, solid container, and especially in black. I mean, you couldn't see no flame, nothing. I don't know why they did that. Okay, these were new for this year. And the only one I didn't really like is pumpkin spice cheesecake, although I know a lot of people did. To me, it just, I couldn't get past the sour milk smell. I mean, it wasn't horrible. You know, it was okay. I mean, it didn't make me sick or anything, but I didn't like it enough to get another one. I did like pumpkin pie enough to get another one. Now, I did burn 2 of them, not at the same time. I burnt one, and then I got out another one. Now, I did have some puny wick syndrome with both of them, but they still pulled out, and they still threw. And it smelled pretty delicious. Now, both of them, I think on the first couple burns, I really didn't get much of a throw. Then it threw like a champ, and then the puny wick syndrome came, and so the throw was not as good, but it was still there. I mean, I could still definitely smell it, and I had both of these going in my big room with other candles going, so that gives you an idea. Now, one candle that I liked was pumpkin sugar cookie, and I did do a review on this one. I'm pretty sure I did. I like this candle. The only problem is the wicks died, and there was still a lot of wax in here. I couldn't keep it lit, so this is another one that I threw on the warmer till the scent was all gone. Cranberry pumpkin. I kind of wish I had tried this one earlier because, I mean, I tried it. Oh, for some reason my camera just stopped, so I'm not sure exactly where it cut off. But anyway, for a small size like this, I really wasn't expecting much. I bought it more for decor purposes, but this is Magnolia and Sage. Definitely the Sage is the predominant note, and there's a hint of the Magnolia to sweeten it. I did do a review on this last year, but this is strong. It was so strong. I can only burn it in small doses, which is why I still have it, because it was definitely too heavy of a scent to burn in the spring and summer. So I put it away, brought it back out this fall, and man, this was a powerhouse. Amazing. So there you guys have it. That is my empties for the month of November. If you guys like this video, please comment, like, and subscribe below, and have a blessed day.